I'm Liz Brown Swanson. Welcome to RPV City Talk with the great mayor of Rancho Palos Verdes, Mayor Paul Seo, our first monthly mayor show of 2026. So welcome.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate all you're doing for our city. We're really excited just to bring our community up to speed every month, what our city's doing. But of course, you kicked in as mayor December 2nd. How's it going? Tell us a little bit about your vision, Mayor Seo.
Everything's been going great. The first thing I wanted to say was thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And, I wanted to lay out my vision because this is my first time on City Talk. And, going forward, one of the things that I wanted to do was make sure we take care of the people in our city. And my priorities we have top priorities, and I want to say a couple of them are making sure people are safe, making sure public safety is sought after, not only from the landslide and climate change and emergency services, but also crime. So we're focusing on that and making sure that's one of our top priorities as well. The other portion too is we've dealt with a lot of electrical issues in our city, from Portuguese Bend, from the landslide to even Grandview and the northern side of the city. I just want to make sure that the reliability is there. We have continuing dialogue with SCE to come on board and make sure we fix those items. And I know this has been, especially when I started campaigning a while ago, a lot of parents came up to me and a lot of folks in the city were talking about cell reception. So one of the things we want to focus on is making sure that we have cell reception in the city. So we've been talking with the carriers, and we're going to be focusing on changing the ordinances so we can actually do it. Now, not to scare people, we're not putting up infrastructure and putting up these huge towers. They're actually small wireless facilities that go on streetlights and existing infrastructure that we have. So, those are some of the top priorities that we're focusing on. But the biggest thing is trying to bring back resources to our city so we can solve the problems that we have.
For residents watching, as we continue to navigate our ongoing state of emergency with the landslide, and all the issues like you referenced that you're focused on. If you were to give the state of the city right now, how are you feeling about life in Rancho Palos Verdes overall?
I don't want to scare folks. We're doing great. And, we live in paradise, especially here in RPV. And, starting last year, we had amazing events starting in December, from Christmas events to tree lighting to the menorah event. We had over 3,000 people show up to the city. So we're having our community get involved and come to our city to enjoy each other, enjoy community and being together. So that part was well. Yep. Now, we had some rains. We had some rains in the last couple weeks and whatnot, and going forward, we had Public Works that have been addressing the situation. They've been on board. They've been doing an amazing job pumping water out of the street at PV Drive South. My hat's off to them for taking care of us and doing such a good job. And they're going to continue to do that job very well. And so, if you see any staff, especially for Public Works, tell them thank you. Please tell them thank you. They've been working 24/7 to make your streets clean and keep everything open, especially with all the debris that has been happening. So far, so good. And in the beginning of the year, after our holiday season and New Year, the city staff, as well as myself and other city council members, we went up to Sacramento to talk to our legislators. And I think it was important to start the year right, to advocate for what we want in terms of resources for the city, because we still need a lot of funding to address the landslide. So we were up there and hustling for the city.
When we open up the show, I'm so excited for Mayor Paul Seo to be joining us every month now that I forgot to do a scene setter. We are sitting at Ladera Linda Community Park behind us. It is a perfect Rancho Palos Verdes day, where they say a Chamber of Commerce day. Sun is shining, people are out enjoying our park. And this is because of the hard work of our city team, our Public Works, our Rec and Parks. It's all here for the community to enjoy, because that's what it's about, really, quality of life. Always a council
goal. Very much so.
But as we address, really, you said public safety and the landslide, going forward in 2026, what is the strategy the city is going to take on to continue managing the ongoing landslide crisis? Obviously, we've been able to slow the movement. So just give some specifics about how we're going to help also residents impacted and continue with the plan to slow the slide.
The biggest thing is making sure we have communication with our residents and people who are affected. So we're making sure those channels of communication always stay open. My phone is always on. So folks contact me, they contact our city staff, especially our city manager, to get their opinions across, which is important. The second part is making sure that we get the funding. So that's why we were in Sacramento, to make sure we're advocating. The state is in a deficit, but we're trying our best, not only from trying to get information and funding from the county, but also the state and federal government. So we're lobbying and doing much as we can to get the funding and bring it back. We've stabilized a good portion of the landslide. We did a great job there, but we have to continue those efforts and make sure we actually solve the problem. I'm hopeful that we can get there.
When it comes to winterization, getting ready for the rains, you're feeling good about what the strategy is with the deep dewatering well program our city is implementing and all of that. We're good.
We're continuing to be vigilant, especially with the solutions that we have, and we're not dropping the ball and fixing the problem.
Anything you want to add for residents watching, especially when it comes to PV Drive South? If you don't live in the impacted neighborhoods, like here we are in really Seaview below us, impacted part of the Klondike Canyon Abatement District, but for residents watching reinforcing that drive Palos Verdes, drive south, always concerned about the safety of that road and maintaining that road. That's a big one.
It is. You know, PV Drive South is a major thoroughfare. We have about 15,000 cars that go over it every single day, and we have cars driving by all the time. So we want to make sure that we keep it open and it's safe for folks to travel in. And we understand that it's a major thoroughfare, and by losing it, it'll hurt us. It'll hurt the community, and commute times will be extended beyond normal. We want to push that traffic to PV Drive North. So we're trying our best to make sure it's safe and open.
Road's looking pretty good these days. I know I drive it every day to get to City Halls.
Yeah, this morning it was great. So far, so good.
So far, so
keep my fingers
good.
crossed.
Now, you talked about, thank you, that the team went up to Sacramento and all of our lobbying efforts. The City Council, we like to on City Talk, we talk about the latest City Council meetings. At the January 20th meeting, you passed the 2026 legislative platform. I know you, as mayor, were on the subcommittee. You helped develop that platform. Again, to help with our lobbying efforts, talk about this year's platform, what was adopted, and why it's so important.
You know, one of the things that we wanted to address, well, there's multiple things that we wanted to address, especially with the legislative platform. It kind of gives our priorities, it gives the goals that we want to reach, and kind of the focus of our efforts.
Right.
You know, one of the biggest things is affordability, housing affordability. Public safety is a huge one as well. And, you know, a lot of the infrastructure problems that we're having and the direction that we want to go in, those are probably the top two ones that I would say is the legislative platform that we put on it, that we updated per se.
Right. And of course, when it comes to landslide and funding and all of that, very big. And another mention in terms of, you know, you're working with our legislators, obviously regionally, at the state level and at the federal level. There's been exciting news coming out of Congressman Liu's office, as our city's one of the goals is to see about acquiring Battery Barnes property. Talk about what's going on, the progress being made, possibly a future site to rebuild the historic Wayfarers Chapel.
Correct. So Battery Barnes is federal property. So what we're trying to do now is to have that come back to the city or revert to the city. Congressman Ted Lieu has been amazing. He submitted a testimonial to advocate for us to get that property. And hopefully in the future, we could put Wayfarers Chapel out there as a historical landmark and have it set back up and rebuilt and brought back to the city. So hopefully that works out.
Well, stay tuned for that. I'm sure we'll be talking about that a lot through the year. Moving forward, public safety top goal. The city sent out, it was a Peninsula Regional Hazard Mitigation Survey to our residents, well, to the peninsula-wide, if you lived here or worked here, all with the goal of increasing emergency preparedness on the peninsula. Talk about the survey. They went out. The deadline was January 15th, so we've received it as residents. I know, I'm sure, did you take it? I took it.
Yeah, we took it.
So talk about the goal of that survey and how it might enhance emergency preparedness for our residents.
So what's very unique to our peninsula is the four cities work together to create a hazard mitigation plan, and we talk about it all the time. There's a safety committee that meets to talk about what we can do to mitigate hazards in the area. And so we were able to get a contractor to put together a plan to look at and do risk assessments, especially in the peninsula when it comes to wildfires, to earthquakes, to landslides. You name it, what we're trying to do is be prepared. So all of us team together to make this plan, and hopefully after we do the assessment and we look at it, we can better plan for what the future looks like 10, 20, 30 years from now. And I think that's very important for us.
And I always like to ask whoever I'm talking to personally, I know you're a dad you have a 6-year-old, 3-year-old, or your family, being prepared in your own house. What happens at the Seo household to be ready?
Well, first of all, we got to get the kids ready. We got to get them out the door.
Yeah.
We got to put their clothes on. But, you know, in all seriousness, we've been getting ready by getting water and food. Mm-hmm. And what does the evacuation plan look like? If there's a fire, if there's an earthquake, where do we go? Who do we call? What items do we grab? So, you know, we've been prepared. We have backpacks that are set up for the kids. What does it look like getting into the car? Making sure your car's fully charged and fully gassed up, which is very important. So just as a public safety announcement, if you guys going to bed and you have a quarter tank of gas,
right,
or you have 10 miles left on your battery, you should probably charge it and get gas before you go to bed, because you never know what's going to happen, right?
I'm thankful. My father, old school, always said to me, how much gas do you have in your tank? If it's below a half a tank, get to the gas station. So, and this is a perfect segue for our next topic about, you said, make sure you're gassed up, charged up. Right here at Ladera Linda behind us, you can see there's spots for what are electric vehicle charging stations. The council has been considering installing them here at Ladera Linda for about a year or more. It came up at the January 20th council meeting. Consideration of if you were to install these charging stations, there's like level 2, level 3, and at this point the council's directed staff to come back with more information. What's happening with this issue?
Correct. We had a major discussion about it. We have 7 stalls that are ready for electrification to charge your cars. Now there's level 2 and level 3. Level 2 being the ones that you have at your house, which takes about 8 hours to get a full charge. Level 3 is almost like a supercharger. And what we wanted to do is make sure we did our homework to see what made sense in terms of demand and how much we're going to charge, because I wanted to actually produce good results,
right,
and make it make sense. For us, I just wanted to make sure we did that. So for us, at least, the decision was, hey, let's do more research, let's do more homework before we make a decision and spend money on it. And I know people are probably going to ask, how are we going to pay for it? There is a grant that's available from the Department of Energy,
yes,
that they're going to grant. So we want to make sure if that money's on the table, we utilize it the best that we can, but let's make sure we do our homework.
Of course, the concern is like how, if you're willing to subsidize, because the rates you're going to have to charge to recover costs is like twice maybe what neighboring communities that offer these. So you have to figure all that out, but you are working towards that goal. And
we're working towards that goal.
Because I think obviously this council is always thinking about our environment impacts, and obviously for the residents that are driving around in electric vehicles. So, all right. So we'll keep staying on that, because I know staff will come back with a more detailed report for you with options, including looking at what all the other surrounding communities are doing as well, and maybe even privatizing this operation.
Yeah, the biggest thing for us is making sure we don't pass on the costs, and the costs are so high that people can't use it. So we're very sensitive to that, and we want to make sure that it gets utilized well. So by doing the homework and doing the research for surrounding communities and what that looks like, I think it'll give us a better picture and inform our decision making.
All right. When it comes to finances for the city, I think people don't realize how for every dollar we spend and we send out in our tax dollars, what little comes back to our own city to fund all the things we do, which is why this next topic we're going to focus on is RPV's Community Foundation, a nonprofit that the city has set up as an opportunity to bring more money into our city through this entity. It's being formed now. Talk about, because the council took it up at January 20th, moving forward to form this foundation and what it will mean.
The foundation was based on, contributions that we could potentially get, gifts that we can potentially get from community members, and we are encouraging that because we're trying to figure out every avenue of revenue or sources of funding that we can get to improve our city. And one of the things that we did was we had an update, a staff update, that our foundation is now up and running. We have a federal ID, not yet for the state, so we can still donate. But what we want to do is make sure we can get those contributions in to actually fix the city and create beautiful things for the city.
Right. It's the RPV Community Foundation. I think the first board meeting you have set as a council is in March, and
that's
the
correct.
Board member is the council.
Correct.
All right. Well, let's hope our generous city and residents will want to contribute to. It's all about preserving the quality of life here, right? That we all enjoy so much. And on that note, I want to find out what you as mayor have been enjoying since you took office on December 2nd as mayor. We like to find out about all your exciting mayoral activities. Even just now, I just was with you in your monthly mayor's breakfast with volunteer chairs of the different boards. So you have a lot going on. Tell us about
We
those
have a lot going on. So as mayor, as you guys may know, there's a lot of duties that we have to do, and I especially have to do. One of them, I just went to a COG meeting, which is the Council of Governments that we just did. We talked about a lot of issues there. A couple of weeks ago, I went to Torrance for their annual Lunar New Year celebration. Oh. So I get to spend time with them as well. And there's a lot of other events. We have events that are coming up that I can mention, like Run for Miles. Run for Miles is coming, pet adoptions as well, and then we also have Willow Day, which is coming up in April. We'll keep you guys posted. Right. But as mayor, there's a lot of duties that we handle and a lot of activities and events that I go to as well.
Yeah, so the Run for Miles I want to mention, January 31st, you can go on and runformiles.com and you can still register. There's a 10K, a 5K, a family walk. Two of my sons, one's in the 10K, one's in the 5K. I already warned my son the 10K about your running capabilities. Don't be trying to beat the mayor.
I think I'm going to stay at the shorter one.
Are you doing 5K?
I'm doing the shorter one.
So for those that are listening, Miles Helm, the fundraiser, that's how it started during our city's 50th.
That's correct.
As a way to it raises money for our trails and parks. So it's a wonderful opportunity. And you get to run along the coastline.
Correct.
So I have an excuse why I don't participate because I'm filming with RPVtv. But get on the website. And then you mentioned that puppy love at Eastview Park. So cute. Do you have a dog?
I don't.
Okay,
My kids have been begging me for them.
Uh-oh. Well, don't take it.
We'll get there soon, I guess.
Maybe you need to take them. On February 14th, Valentine's Day, do the sweetest little puppy love fun day and event at the Eastview Park, which is such a great park. We have so many amazing parks here, right?
We do.
Like
We
this
have
one
beautiful
here.
parks in our city.
What park do your kids like to go to?
Hess Park and Ryan Park. Those are the two.
Those are
Those are the
they're all
two.
they're
Those are
just
the two.
amazing. Anything you want to add? We have a lot going on. This is a busy city. And, it doesn't get any better than RPV.
Just want to let everyone know that we're working super hard to make sure that they're taken care of and they're safe. The city staff is amazing. So if you ever see city staff walking by at the park or filming here, especially our crew, please tell them thank you. And they do it tirelessly and effortlessly.
Right.
So from me and the city staff, we just want to say we love you guys. Be safe and enjoy the week.
Yes, and come out to these parks. Right now it's peak whale watch season.
It
Have you
is.
spotted a whale yet?
No, we were out there with the Sakura students.
That's right. That's another thing you did as mayor, right?
So
you were the Sakura.
before we wrap up, Sakura City is our sister city in Japan, and the students are doing an exchange program in our city, and they came out here, and we had dinner with them at Point Vicente.
Right.
And that day, there was a lot of whale watching.
And so this is the time you can see whales with the naked eye. That's what's so cool about living in RPV from right here. It's a great location. Or go to our premier spot, Point Vicente Interpretive Center, like the mayor said. Of course, here in City Talk, we always want to remind our residents about what we're doing to increase public safety, whether it's spreading the word about Neighborhood Watch and our own city's public safety division, which has been launching over the last year. Talk about the public safety division and the coordination with the sheriff's department.
Now, the public safety division is very near and dear to me because we want to make sure that we take care of our folks in the city. And the public safety division was stood up so that we can have liaisons and have the dissemination of information be done quickly. And, we have Neighborhood Watch, but we kind of wanted to supercharge that. So our public safety division jumped on board. We have public safety liaisons that actually do patrolling. They're not sheriff's deputies, but they're helping be eyes and ears on the street, an augmentation of the sheriff's department. So we're working in conjunction with them to make sure our city stays safe.
And working in conjunction with the Sheriff's Department, I do want to add that at the first City Council meeting of the year with you, January 20th, Captain Guerrero was there, as she comes to these meetings, but she's sharing now more updates to let us know how we're doing with our crime stats and our crime suppression efforts. Your overall impression of that first report she gave in January, how we're doing overall with crime?
We're doing great. Now, I think year to date, since January, crime's been down, which is amazing.
Yes.
Now, just because it's down doesn't mean that we're not vigilant. And I think we need to keep on that path. And especially with the Public Safety Division and LASD working together in conjunction with us, we're doing a great job so far. And I hope to continue that effort and make sure that everybody stays informed and knows what exactly they need to do. One thing that I would ask our neighbors to do is if you see something, say something. Mm-hmm. Make sure you report it, because with the reporting, even on that specific date for the city council meeting, we had a helicopter flying above because somebody saw something happening in the neighborhood. It looked like a burglary. They reported it. Our sheriff's deputies came out and arrested the individuals that's trying to or attempt to do a burglary. So that was
all right.
good.
We appreciate that update. And of course, you can always go onto our city website to find out about everything going on, whether we post our crime mapping, all of that on rpvca.gov. Okay, now before we officially wrap up here at Ladera Linda, I do want to add that you have an exciting announcement with a new program with the mayor. It's going to be Coffee with the Mayor.
That's correct. And the whole point and the reason behind the Coffee with the Mayor is to just give an informal setting where people in the neighborhood, in the city can come and actually talk to me, voice their opinions, talk about what they care about. And I really want to listen to what actually, people say. Coffee with the Mayor. Hope they're having coffee right now watching our City Talk show. Thanks again for all you do, Mayor Seo. We look forward to an exciting, productive year in 2026. Remember, we are RPV together. I'm Liz Brown Swanson with City Talk and the Mayor Paul Seo. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Thanks, guys.